What's up? It's YT Wake 'em Up, back at it again with another YouTube video. We got this channel going up, going quick. Y'all say these videos are making y'all feel like y'all not alone. How y'all feel about this one though? I don't know if anybody in this situation right now, you know what I mean? But this one right here is people are moving back home with their parents in their 30s and 40s. People got different reasons why. Let's react to it. Let's see how people feel about what's going on and the reason that they're moving back home. Before we get into it, I want everybody to thumbs up this video so the algorithm can push it. Help me. And I'm going to continue to drop this content. Smash the subscribe button so you can see these type of videos pop up on your timeline. And without further ado, let's get right into this thing, man. Starting my journey of living with my parents again at 30. That's the title of this one. Let's see what she's talking about.
Hi, my name is Callie. I'm 30, and I just moved back in with my parents. Let's talk about it. I bought a house in 2020, moved in 2021, lived there for about 2.5 years, and then I sold it about a month ago. Made a good amount of money on it, and now I am staying with my parents until we find a new house that we would like to buy.
Okay, so that's a different type of situation. She got the money. She's just looking for a new house that she want to buy, so it's like a temporary move. It's not permanent. So I get it. I get it.
Pretty interesting so far. Not bad, but interesting. I moved on July 31st, so it's been 2 weeks, almost 3 weeks since I moved. I guess 3 weeks. And yeah, I just don't see a lot of people going through the same experience. And if they are, they're not sharing it. So I want to share my experience. I want to share this journey of living with my parents again as a grown adult and buying a new house. And I want you guys to come with me.
All right. For the fact that she just in the process of buying a new house, that could be smart. Hopefully she profited on that house and then she'll be able to get one for even cheaper or, you know, within the same price range to where it makes sense. Somebody said 37 and just moved home so I can travel and work and figure out what's next. I've been living with them part-time since 2020. So I feel like everybody got different reasons. Somebody moved back with their parents after the divorce. 31. Her and her fiance are living with her mom while they save up to buy a house. So this is a thing that's common. People are saving up to buy a house pretty much. So this is the best way that they could do it. You know, because you really can't save while having all of those life expenses. I get it.
1 in 10 people aged between 30 and 34 are living with their parents still. This is quite fascinating. If you think back in the day, people were getting married when they were like 20, yeah. And now we've got 30 to 35-year-olds that are still living at home. You know, like that's...
It makes me feel better about my life, I will be honest.
Totally, yes, yeah. But
it's like everyone's struggling. It's not just me.
Yeah, and this is up 10% from a decade earlier. So it is...
Okay, they say everybody's struggling, not just me. I thought they was just going to get a laugh out of what's going on and be like, oh yeah, that's not me, you know, I'm better than you type. But I see. So what's their situation? Are they in the same boat?
Getting worse and worse and worse. Like at what point does that figure start going down and people start moving out of home earlier?
When it's less expensive to live out of home.
Yeah, but when does that happen? Like, you know, there's got to be
You
something.
tell me, you're the finance expert.
But it's got to be at some point. We can't be sitting here in 10 years time and be like, wow,
45-year-olds living at home.
Yeah, like it's kind of weird.
Maybe it'll become normal.
Yeah,
because it's
true.
how expensive it is.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll become normal because of how expensive it is. I'm thinking that's what it'll be. Y'all got to realize this is what happened during the Great Depression. It was so many people living under one roof that people had to sleep outside. People had to sleep in cars. People had to sleep under trees. It was like that. So we are pretty much living through depressionary times again right now. We're just living through the silent depression. It's actually the same thing going on right now. And it will be just as bad as the Great Depression. You know, when everybody lose jobs, people can't afford to eat. We getting to that point. So I think it will become normal, actually. At least for a certain amount of time until the market's correct. If and they do correct and come back. You know, a lot of people may be able to get ahead and a lot more won't. You see what I'm saying? Let's see what she got to say.
No hate, no shade, no the lady that tweeted this, but a lady said, at 30 years old, you telling me that you moving back in with your parents is just IDK. And what I do care is 45% of millennials and more Gen Zers is moving back in with their parents. And I can tell you why.
First of all, before she tell us why, 45% is a high number. That's damn near half millennials and Gen Z moving back, according to her numbers. That's pretty high. Let's see. At 37, I moved back with my mom, and together we have almost paid a 30-year mortgage, breaking generational curses. Okay, let's get back into what she said. Firstly, saying
things like broke people shouldn't date makes a lot of sense, and I too second that notion. However, it is not realistic. Human beings are going to try to find a companion, and if I'm being honest, the cheapest thing to do right now is Netflix, and with Netflix raising their rates every 3.5 months, that's becoming too expensive. We're gonna have to bend it over at Barnes and Nobles. People go home to
yo, bend it over at Barnes and Noble though. Life update, I moved back in with my dad at 33 because life is life and getting expensive.
It's moving day.
So last month, I left my 2-bedroom apartment and moved back in with my dad for the second time in my 30s. Because for the second time in my 30s, I got laid off from my full-time job. I'm only 33 for reference. And even though I had quite a bit more money saved than the last time I got laid off, life has gotten a lot more expensive and it started dwindling so quickly. And the stress of how I was going to keep affording to stay in this apartment when I wasn't even getting job interviews was weighing so heavily on me and honestly not helping the burnout that I was really trying to recover from. And while I am going to miss having my own space and decorating and organizing how I like, not having to share freezer space and being able to walk around without pants, I'm also super grateful and happy that I have a dad who is both able and willing to let me move back in. And after the very expensive, very long 8-hour moving day, I was also really grateful that I chose to keep the bed set and mattress that I bought for myself so it can still feel like me and not my dad's house.
All right, so her situation pretty much is she got laid off, couldn't get another job. That's real. Mass layoffs are taking place right now. And it's jobs that say they're hiring, but they're not calling nobody. At least you do got people that's willing to let you move back in at your 30s. You got to do what you got to do out here, man. Hopefully she get back on her feet and move back out if that's what she want to do. But the way the job market is looking right now, I feel like a lot of people probably had to do this or they doing van life because what's happening to everybody that's getting laid off and can't get another job? What are they doing? You know what I mean? We're hearing about all of these high numbers, hundreds of thousands of layoffs, tens of thousands here, 1,000 here, but what's the updates? What's going on with these people? How are they living for real?
So I recently moved back in with my parents at 31 years old. Let's talk about it. So I could tell you right now, it was never a part of my life plan to move back home in my 30s. But here we are. Just in case you're new here, I'll give you a little quick backstory. So I was living abroad in London until about 5 months ago. And I was living there for 4.5 years, working as a full-time digital content creator. So once I had made...
I just knew she was going to say a digital content creator for some reason, but let's see what happened with the content creator then, since the creator economy is supposed to be growing, thriving, and all of that, right? I feel like a lot of creators had to get jobs. A lot of them had to backtrack in life a little bit with this economy, but let's just see her reason behind having to move back as a content creator, being able to survive out in London for 4 years.
Made the decision that I was going to be returning home, I knew that life was going to change because my channel, first and foremost, was focused around my life abroad. So I knew that the move could affect my views, it could affect my frequency of uploading, which was going to ultimately affect my income. So of course, when my parents said that I could move back into my childhood bedroom while I figured my life out, rent free, it was kind of a no-brainer. With the decision to return back to the US, I had also decided that I was ready to return to a 9-to-5 job. Stability was calling my name. So once I returned back to the US, I immediately started applying. And y'all, with the way this job market is set up, I was prepared for whatever. But God is good, y'all, because I was able to secure my dream job role a little over a month after I started applying. And though I have been very, very blessed by my current salary, and I could actually move out tomorrow if I wanted to and live comfortably, I have decided to stay. Being a self-employed digital content creator could be very, very challenging. And it was also very, very up and down for me. So I was pretty much at the end of my savings once I returned back from the UK. So my beautiful, amazing, gracious parents are actually allowing me to continue to stay here until I reach my pretty large savings goal. Y'all, my life abroad was amazing, okay? Like, it was all about stepping out of my comfort zone. It was about seeing the world. It was very much living check to check and just YOLO.
At least she got the experiences, though. Life is about experiences as well. A lot of people just work hard and they never get to really travel. So I feel like having those life experiences is a plus, and they have impact your life forever. You know, it changed you as a person. And I'm just glad she able to get a new career and be able to possibly reach her saving goals. So it sounds like everybody moving back for saving goals, not just to be bums, you know, whatever you want to call it, or how the world will look at it.
In her 30s, 2024 page is about stability, okay? And I want to just be so financially secure. I want to be so good that I never have to return home again after I leave this next time. And as much as I love being here with my parents, this is the last time. I'm currently saving pretty aggressively, with a little treat yourself splurge every now and then, but not too often. And if everything goes to plan, I should actually reach my savings goal by August 2024 or sooner. You never know. But I'm being very strict about not leaving until I hit that number goal. I'm not putting a date on it and saying like, oh, it has to be August. It's whenever I hit that goal. So if something changes and I have to wait longer, I just will. Y'all, I daydream about moving into my future place like pretty much every single day, from decorating to, you know, city living. Like, I can't stop thinking about it. Right now, I am just truly trusting my life's path and not worrying too much about what society says I should be doing right now, where society says I should be. In my 31 years of life, I have been able to have so many beautiful experiences. I've seen so much. I've done so much. And right now, I think it is just my time to be still, okay? And practice some real delayed gratification, because I know my future self is going to thank me. And I honestly just feel so overwhelmingly blessed that my parents are so amazing, that, you know, things worked out with my job the way they did, and that I have this opportunity to start from scratch, you know, and it doesn't have to be a super scary thing. It's actually really exciting. So yes, I did move back home with my parents at 31 years old. But you know what? I have a plan. My bank account is on the up. We're not doing too bad, okay? And in 2024, we're going to be even better. So for anyone else out there like me who is just trying to figure it out as you go, keep hope alive, y'all. 2024 is going to be our year.
All right. So it sounds like she got a plan. A lot of these people have a plan. Most people in life don't have a plan. They just go with the flow. It sounds like she got a plan. So I don't feel like that's a bad thing, what she's doing right now. I feel like 31 now old. And I just looked this up earlier too. The average millionaire don't become a millionaire until the age of 37 to 49. So when we see these successful people, we think it's fly by night, like it just happened overnight. That's how people look at it. So some of these people was in the same boat, and people looked at them like they was failures and all of that. But now everybody look at them as successful, and that's goals. That's goals. Nobody wasn't saying that when they was on the come up. You can't look at people's day 100 and compare your day 1 to their day 100. Everybody humble themselves. Life update, moving back home.
I kind of made an abrupt decision to move back home. Like, I prayed about it. That was on my spirit to do, and I'm doing it. I live in Dallas currently, and I'm just got tired of spending all this money on bills with the cost of living going up. I want to save my money. I want to pay off some debt, pay off my car, and buy me a house. So for me to be able to do that, I made a decision to break my lease and move back home. I'm an only child, so it's not going to be a big issue. Most likely I am going to get a place in my hometown, and the cost of living is way cheaper. So I'll be able to, save money for my deposit for my house, pay off some debt, and pick my next place to live, because Dallas is not the place.
Once again, another person talking about having an opportunity to save, get themselves out of debt. I agree with that. This is the only thing. If you break the lease, then you're going to have that on your credit profile. So how you going to get a house? How can you get a house with that on your credit profile? I wouldn't do that. At least pay the lease up, get that off of your back, and then focus on saving, paying off bills, paying off your car. But once again, another person talking about being able to save. So I feel like this is the only way people are able to save. You know, the average American don't got $500 to $1,000 in savings. No matter how you look at it, you always going to be paycheck to paycheck and never be able to get ahead living within that rat race system that America has provided for us. Unless you have an opportunity to get out, and this is one way to get out, temporarily from the rat race and just stack up some money. This is the last one. Let's see what bro talking about. Moving back home is a life hack. So he calling it a life hack. Let's get his perception on it.
Moving back home with your parents or relatives is one life hack that can help you become successful. In 2017, I moved back home with my mother for about 9 months. Moving back home with your parents or relatives is one life hack that can help you become successful. In 2017, I moved back home with my mother for about 9 months. During that time, I made $17 an hour, but was able to save $10,000. I used that $10,000 to move to Philadelphia and start my vending machine business, which now generates over 6 figures a year. And with that, I'm able to take care of my mother. Now, I know a lot of people balk at the idea of moving back home with your parents as an adult, but in a lot of cultures, it's pretty standard. Many don't move out until they're getting married or until they're able to afford a house. So ignore the optics, move back home, sacrifice a little, and give yourself the opportunity to become successful.
Very true. A lot of cultures stay with their parents until they get married. But I feel like that's smart what he did then. Like he said, he was able to help his mama out too, pay off her debts, save a lot of money, and start him a successful 6-figure business. So it is a life hack from that aspect as long as you play your cards right. It could just be an opportunity to get ahead for the first time. This topic in general was different than I thought it was going to be. I thought people was going to talk about how life was so hard and they moved back. This one was more so on people moving back to play it smart, get a fresh new start. I agree with these people. I mean, if that's the best you can do and it's giving you an opportunity to be successful, to get your dream home, to pay off debt, to get ahead in life, then I feel like there's nothing wrong with it. And everybody got to move on their own time, despite what people say. Don't worry about nobody judging you. Don't worry about what people say or living based on the standards that are deemed normal. Everybody got their own timeline. Everybody's life is going to go different than anybody else's. Don't compare your life to nobody else's. Period. I'm out, y'all. Peace.